Sergei Berkatovsky told us that you have dev plans for 2 years. But what will happen to the game, for example, in 5 years?
Sustainable market performance of such online games as Navy Field, World of Warcraft, and Ultima Online is vivid proof that a good online game can stay popular for a long time. The user base is growing and absorbing content. We regularly add new features and improve the game. Actually, I think the game can live for another 2 or 3 years even if we stop updating it. Of course, we have no intention to stop. Virtual tank men from all over the world, game designers, programmers, project managers, and we all have contributed to a massive wish list for future updates. And you know what? There are enough features for a 5-year development plan, and everyday people are suggesting something new and exciting. Small, medium, or big features have already been documented. The game design department has described most of them in detail. You should understand that, like in any business, resources play an important role when it comes to game development. We need more and more people to implement these long lists of features. That's why we've been hiring specialists for all offices and development studios in Minsk, Kiev, and St. Petersburg. We are searching, interviewing, and hiring programmers, designers, sound specialists, and managers that have proper knowledge and expertise in the industry. We made the right strategic decision not to involve the World of Tanks team into the development of World of Warplanes and World of Warships. World of Tanks team stays in Minsk, and tanks are its only priority. We've got a lot of plans, and we'll continue to introduce new battle arenas, as well as add new nations and vehicle models. In the near future, for example, we'll be adding the British tech tree, and probably in the not-so-far future, we'll introduce Japanese machines and maybe some other nations as well. Our team is working really hard on it. We're doing lots of research and preparing numerous materials. There will always be new content. There's no single reason why our company should stop World of Tanks development. We will crank up our capacity and increase the number of new features and content.
What are your plans for the future? Are you working on any projects other than World of Tanks, World of Warplanes, and World of Warships?
We are pleased to realize World of Tanks has opened up a new subgenre. Moving away from a traditional MMO model was pretty challenging. We took the risk and succeeded. As a result, we have carved ourselves a niche in the market. Now, anyone can come up with at least a dozen games that would fit nicely into the concept of the wargaming saga. Why not try a World of Submarines or a World of Helicopters? Could you imagine the wargaming-style World of Humanoid Robots with tense 15 versus 15 battles in the open space? I bet you can. What I'm driving at here is deciding on the theme for a game is easy enough. But to ensure high quality at every development stage and provide lost launch maintenance and decent customer support is really tricky. From a development viewpoint, an AAA game takes several years in the making and requires a big team of skilled professionals, good financing, sound marketing, and favorable trade outlook. So first, let's see how World of Warplanes works out and what World of Warships will reveal. Not to mention that we are working on the wargaming.net service that we announced at E3 this June. It requires tons of work as well. Our creative plan for the near future is to launch World of Warplanes, continue with development of World of Warships, and keep on introducing new content and exciting new features for World of Tanks.
What are your expectations about the World of Warplanes player base? Where do you think you'll have the biggest community? Will it be Western Europe, North America, Southeast Asia, or CIS countries?
You'll never know until the game is live. However, we can make some assumptions. There are certain cultural preferences in regard to a particular type of warfare. Russia is mostly a tank culture, country of tanks. The United States is a warplane culture. If you have a look at U.S. movies, literature, TV shows, and comic books, you'll easily notice that Americans are really into aviation. There's something like 347 air shows in America happening every year. Statistically, almost every day, somewhere, there's an air show. So yeah, America's into warplanes. It gives us every reason to believe that World of Warplanes will click in the USA. It will resonate nicely with American players. If you consider the number of interviews, reviews, and previews on the game, most of them are from the US gaming press. It doesn't mean we will develop the game solely for the American market.
How often do you play World of Tanks? What is your favorite tank?
I've been playing World of Tanks since the game entered closed alpha. I play it every day, sometimes more, sometimes less. In total, I have fought about 9,000 battles. Of course, many devoted tank men have a more prominent record. But with the very tough business schedule I have, it's often quite problematic for me to find free time and play as long as I want. I really enjoy some tanks in the game and with great pleasure play Heavy Mouse Tank, the biggest and most brutal machine in the game. Rushing in it across a battlefield feels classy. I didn't play many self-propelled guns before. The only exception was the American T-95 TD. I often chose it for platoon battles with my brother. It all changed with the introduction of the French tree. Top-tier French folk tank destroyers are really cool. Lately, I've been playing the Tier 8 AMX ACDE 120 TD. Tier 9 AMX 50 Foch is another must-have, but I lack enough resources to research it yet. If I manage to carve out some free time to play, I prefer to stick to Tier 8 to finally get the desired amount of XP and unlock the next tier. The French Arty with the autoloader's incredible rate of firepower was a nice addition too. I often play the Tier 8 Bat Chatillon. I used to be into medium tanks, and now I play the heavies more often. That's the thing about World of Tanks. Whenever you grow tired and weary with a certain class or nation, there are plenty of other options to choose from.
What is your favorite vehicle type?
I'm really into top-tier heavies. As I said, I'm passionate about the German Maus. It seems that it is somehow close to me, I mean, the tactics. Playing this mammoth one doesn't need to be in the forefront. It shoots good at a long distance. You can protect the team and carry it to victory with minimum damage. Or you can rush through the middle if you'd like to. I also like the AMX 50B French heavy tank. It's far behind the Maus, but it's fairly good for a heavy tank too. Besides, it benefits greatly from the auto-loading system. It's fast and deadly. Another nice model is the Tier 10 Soviet IS-7 heavy tank. I love to rush in it through the middle of the Himmelsdorf map. It has less HP than the Maus, but it's fast, agile, capable of delivering serious damage, and has some of the best sloped frontal armor in the game. So I'm really into the heavies, regardless the nation.
Is there any particular vehicle you just don't like?
American tanks with strong turrets are pretty intimidating. I'm pretty familiar with their weaknesses, but players always manage to hide these spots. For example, if I'm playing against the T-30 tank destroyer, and I can only see the turret behind the window, and it's turned under a certain angle, even the Maus can't penetrate it with premium ammunition. American vehicles are really nasty tanks to fight.
What is your favorite nation in the game?
I have tanks of all nations in the garage. If you look at my statistics, I play the Maus more often than other tanks, and it belongs to the German tree. The Soviet IS-7 number would be my number 2 on the list, especially when it grants double XP. During the specials, when Soviet tanks are given ×3 or ×5, I play the entire line of Soviet heavies. Tier 3 Su-26 SPG is a nice one, too. The French are absolutely awesome. How can anybody dislike them? As for the American tanks, well, I used to play them more in the past. Now I only have a few favorites. These are the T-95 tank destroyer, the Super Pershing, and the Patton. I don't play them very often, though. In other words, I play all nations, but nothing will compare to the Maus.
What new features do you anticipate the most?
I am really looking forward to some features, and when I learn that they might be delayed, I often go and have serious talks with the guys in charge of development. For example, I believe all players will benefit from balancing new game modes. Plus, only on a few maps now support new modes, and I can't wait to try out Assault and Encounter Battle on all in-game locations. Developers have several neat concepts like historical battles and mini-campaigns, and I'm sure they'll fit perfectly in between elaborate diplomacy of clan wars and the crazy fun of random battles. And yeah, sure, everybody's talking about new physics. I majored in laser physics while at university, and this update somehow feels special for me. I can't wait for it to arrive.
In conclusion, could you please give some advice about winning in World of Tanks? Could you share with players some tank tactics that are really useful on the battlefield?
Okay, I'll tell you how I usually play the mouse. When you start the rush through the middle on the Himmelsdorf, the opposite team doesn't expect such a move. If you play a heavy tank, my advice to you would be to rush. Don't hide behind trees and bushes. First, however, you should use your persuasion skills and charisma to convince your other teammates that they should follow your strategy. As you rush through the middle, players on artillery should provide you a decent cover from behind, whilst heavy tanks like the E-75 or the IS-7 should cover your flanks. In other words, once you push the battle button, you have no time to waste. You should gain your team's trust, persuade them, and sound argumentative when you tell your mates that the opposite team doesn't expect such a move. Once they follow your instructions, you have every chance to win.